So this week's video is the third in my Angel Investor series. And we're talking about the 5 lessons that I learned from my investment portfolio companies during the COVID-19 pandemic and the associated lockdowns. These companies do business in the United States, Singapore, Australia, and Philippines, so my observations are really based from those 4 markets. So the first lesson is face and take the tough decisions. So it's very good to see in a number of the companies in which I've invested that the founder and management team very quickly, as COVID-19 and the associated lockdowns were coming into effect, took the business plan, sat it down, and then said, what is going to change in the year for us? What are things we need to stop doing, start doing? What do we need to do to adapt? And went through some scenario planning with, as you would expect, a best case, an expected case, and a worst case. So that was all very good management in adversity. In hindsight, though, the thing that could have been better, I think, is when we looked at the worst cases, typically people were using about a 6-month duration from lockdown starting to lockdown ending and all the various sort of relaxations coming up to whatever new normal means. I think now with what we know, that 6 months is too short a period. Now, at the time, we didn't know. We made our best guess. But I guess my learning is take your best guess of the worst case scenario, but then make it even worse. And why? It's not to be unrealistic or theoretical. It's to force you into some very tough decisions. And I will use an example to illustrate this. So this business here, Glebe House Manila. So it's 1 to 3-year-olds, playgroup, and sort of early childhood education. There is still no date for schools and daycare centers coming back into normal. So we've had a few months where the classrooms have been empty. We've definitely got a few months more where they'll be empty. And beyond that, we don't know. Long period of time. Now, a big component of our cash burn every month is the rent for those classrooms. So the tough decision we had to face was, do I continue paying rent month after month after month, in advance, by the way, for empty classrooms that are not helping me generate any revenue, so that I can hold on to a premises I quite like, and I don't have to spend time or money finding a new one, in the hope that I don't burn through all my cash before customers are coming back? Or do I stop paying my rent, try and negotiate with a landlord for delayed payment or a reduction in payment, preserve some cash, and then allows me a longer runtime where I can go without students. Now, the trouble with that second scenario is it risks eviction. And with eviction, sure, then we're preserving some cash, but then we've got to find new premises and renovate them later on, which has a cost. So that's the kind of tough decision that we were forced into taking. And that's why you want to kind of almost exaggerate your worst case scenario. So you take those decisions while you've still got cash in the bank and a bit more room to maneuver as opposed to when you're in a panic. Learning 2, cut costs quickly. Now, in very large companies, people always have cost reduction plans. They often stretch out over long periods of time. In a good startup, there's laser-like attention on what is my monthly cash burn and how much money do I have in the bank, and therefore, how many months can I go through until I need to do my next raise or until I need to hit break even. Now, even in normal times, you pay close attention to that. Now, in these COVID-19 uncertain times, those number of months of cash you have left till the next raise, you may not have that next raise for a long time. So you've got to make that cash in the bank last as long as possible. How do you do that? You cut costs. How do you best do that? You cut the costs as quickly as possible. Because if you've got a cash burn of, say, 100 this month, and you can take it down within that month to 60, you're getting that extra 40 saved in the bank every month from now through the end of the year. Whereas if you delay it even a month or 2, you're already burning through cash, and you're reducing the time you have for survival or the runway you have to get the next raise. So learning 2, cut costs quickly. Stay safe, stay sane out there. I hope this was helpful to you angel investors and others.